Wow, wow, wow. What a Saturday of Barclays action. Welcome to an impromptu daily grind here on Latte Firm. A generational hate watch today, obviously just ruined by the scum getting that late equaliser against Wolves, lowly Wolves, and they're celebrating as if they've won a trophy. Welcome, one and all. I couldn't not go live tonight. What have we seen today? What have we seen? It all started off with, well, I guess Graham Potter getting the sack from West Ham. Then Manchester United getting pumped away at Brentford. Then Liverpool. Oh, what a game at Selhurst Park against Crystal Palace. Eddie Nketiah winning it at the death. And then, Chelsea. Just a fantastic day. Fantastic day. Welcome to the show. I thought I'd go live. Very, very quick one tonight. And of course, the defeat now at Liverpool at Selhurst Park means that we have a real chance to narrow the gap tomorrow. It's a great chance. But listen, took a couple of messages saying, why are you going live? It's a bit premature. Listen, you got to live a great life and you got to die a great death and you got to live in the moment. And at the end of the day, it's been a great Saturday for us. So you could just inject it, enjoy it, drink it in, get ready for match of the day. Let me just tee you up for that. Latif was first in the house, says, hello, FK. Finally, Liverpool got the L. Thanks, Eddie. Eddie says Jeffrey, Arsenal for life. V Vlad says, good evening, FK. Just seen Spurs go down. Generational hate watch Saturday. Of course, they did rescue him right at the death. Palinia with a late equaliser against Wolves. DJ D10, welcome, says, yes, was hoping for someone to share my Schadenfreude. Let's all bask in the glory of Eddie Nketiah. Paul James, good evening. Can today keep being the day that just keeps giving? Sadly, not just at the end. But two former Gunners, of course, doing the business. Big up Eddie Nketiah, Danny Welbeck. And great to see Postecoglou lose again. Yeah, Forest. Not having much luck. Praying for a hat-trick from Marino, says Latte Firm, tomorrow. I think we are. It's going to be a big game tomorrow. Newcastle away, the Super Sunday. That is the game that we all want to see. You might notice there's a slight difference in the background. That storage system that I had, some changes coming to my wall. I'm going to finally put up my memorabilia. In fact, I think I've got my one Arsene Wenger shirt that's gonna fashion that wall. So can't wait for that. Thanks also for being flexible with the timing. My sincerest apologies for being a bit late. I thought I'd let you guys watch the rest of the game. Looking forward to the match of the day, says Peter, as am I. Frank is turning into Ferguson, a red nose and light speed bubblegum. Listen, I got to say, the boos were very amusing at Spurs. They were booing even before they'd equalised. Very, very unusual to see. I think Thomas Frank is a very good manager, but I think Spurs fans are going to run out of patience. Dave says, currently sick as a pig, but today's football is certainly easing the pain. Welcome, my friend. I hope you feel better very soon. Karen's in the house, and Dave's just getting frustrated with Wolves, of course. And Julian Alvarez, what a player. Atletico Madrid dismantling Real Madrid. Really, really good game out there in Spain. Mike Jones says, a great day of football. Let's bring up some slides just to get involved. But thanks for joining. Really appreciate it. Well, welcome to Patreon members, channel members, and of course the general chat. Keep that active. And if you're enjoying the content, please do, of course, subscribe. First thing, just a quick plug, because you guys might have missed it this morning, the match preview show with Kendall Rowan, who is, of course, a Newcastle fan of the Overlap and various social accounts. That is on there. And she's fantastic because she gives us her thoughts on Isak Ekitike, the Newcastle summer, her thoughts on Eddie Howe and the sort of season expectations that they've got. We obviously look ahead to the game, and she's got some inside intel on Andrea Berta as well, of course, because she's a lifelong Atletico Madrid fan, knows everything there is to know about that club, and even gave an example of how Andrea Berta refused to sign someone because someone turned up to what was supposed to be an interview in shorts. It's a really interesting show, so do check that out. It's on the channel feed already, and of course, you can wet your lips for tomorrow's game. So, what a generational hate watch Saturday. I mean, it kick-started with this game, Brentford against Manchester United, and these graphics courtesy of PremierLeague.com. Ruben Amorim just does not care, does he? They are so just a shambles of a club top to bottom. They go and beat Chelsea, and then, of course, they've gone today and got beaten by Brentford. Brian Mbeumo going back to his former ground as well. 3-1 defeat. A sweet, sweet game. I mean, they're just hopeless. They are absolutely hopeless, Manchester United. And there was a moment in the game, even though Benjamin Sesko scored his first goal for the club, I thought, I don't want a too heavy defeat today. We need Ruben Amorim to stay in the job, right? We need him to sign a new contract and sort of turn this all around because we know he's a disaster of a manager. And then you get the comments that you can see on screen. Never concerned about my job. I'm not that kind of guy. Well, maybe, Chief, you need to be concerned about your job. Maybe you need to do something a little bit differently because whatever you're doing, my man, it is not working, and long may it continue. So yeah, look, Manchester United beaten, taken apart again by another team this week, and that is a Brentford team. Massively, massively funny. Brentford were 2-0 up within 20 minutes. Shesko scored, of course, scored just a few minutes later. And then Jensen late into injury time with a glorious goal, just swatting it in from the edge of the box. And Bruno Fernandes missing a penalty as well, which is always very, very amusing. Rancid Pumpkin's in the house. Lucio's in the house. AP says Eddie just a few minutes earlier missed a sitter. It wasn't quite a sitter, was it? It was an amazing cross from Mateta, and Eddie Nketiah sort of, I think he jumped a bit too early, and I was cursing at that moment, let me tell you. What a weekend, says Jay. Good news is also here. Your defense is in trouble. Yes, Eddie Nketiah is in the room. What a goal. Thank you, Eddie and Palace. Over to you now, Mikel Arteta and Arsenal ahead of tomorrow. Yeah, live a great life. Do you know what? I think that's a line from Sea Beast, which is like a children's movie I watched with my kids on Netflix, and the captain's like, live a great life and die a great death. Well, there we are. Boogie says, hey, FK, good evening and greetings from New York City. Hope you guys are all watching the Ryder Cup that's started. The beauty of the pencil is in the house. Greetings, Latte Firm and chat. What a day of football, says Logical Nonsense. We're going to talk about Florian Wirtz or Florian Squirts. Keep that thought on your mind for just a second. Andy says, what a day. I'll be there tomorrow, and now it feels like a draw isn't the end of the world. We'll come on to some sort of closing thoughts on the game that is tomorrow. I'm really excited about it. St. James's, I feel good. I feel we have an opportunity, and hopefully today's results might have just given them, given our boys a bit of an injection sort of boost, confidence, morale, whatever it is. Saw is just simply singing, Amorim, we want you to stay. Joe, welcome. What a day of football. Madness, absolute madness. I cannot remember a hate watch day like today. It's just beautiful to reflect on it. Vlad says Amorim has a worse win percentage than Potter at West Ham. They're so finished. I wonder if Graham Potter's sacking early in the morning has maybe spared the attention on Ruben Amorim for just another week or two. I think maybe they can hide behind that headline because that's been terrible. And Nuno Espirito Santo is now in the dugout for West Ham. And I know people are nervous about a new manager bounce, but really, they're utterly awful, and they're going to be at the Emirates soon. And I think we'll pump them. DK, welcome to the show. Good to see you, my man. It's been a long time. Says Amorim wants the payout. FK, of course, every manager would do that, of course. But DJ D10 says he's just a broken man. I would be ashamed if I was a Manchester United fan. Where are United in the league now, ladies and gents? Do we even know? Let me just have a quick look. Manchester United are, and the Premier League table is being currently updated on PremierLeague.com. Here we go. It's just flashed up. 14th in the league. 14th. That's insane. And Bruno missing the pen. That was great, wasn't it? Kelleher making the save down to his left. Absolutely superb. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Yamin Yamal's gone early. Please, Arteta, I beg, do not start Marino. We talked about that long and hard in the late night lounge last night. Do check that out if you've missed it. And of course, in the match preview show earlier today, they are 14th. Lots of people just shouting out 14. Right, let's move on to the next game, which was, chaos. Absolute chaos. Look at that. Chelsea were 1-0 up quite early on, thanks to an Enzo Fernandez goal. And then former gunner, Danny Welbeck, that guy Welbs, scoring and Brighton winning it deep into injury time and adding a third just for the icing on the cake. Absolutely tremendous. The image on the right-hand side, courtesy of ESPN UK, shows that the only win Enzo Maresco has as Chelsea manager in his last 5 is a win against Lincoln. Chelsea are a mess as well, aren't they? Who'd have thought just, stockpiling your squad with loads and loads of players and trying to sort of keep them all happy was not going to work. Look, it's early days. I'm not going to write them off. Of course, they might come back and do something and might win a trophy or whatever, but to be beaten like that at home against Brighton, and it was all fisticuffs. Trevor Chalobah being sent off early in the second half, and then the sort of handbags towards the end and injury time. Goalkeeper Badiashile, just sort of, all the players starting on each other. It's very, very amusing. But they've been beaten at home and beaten badly. And Brighton, who of course we play in the next round of the League Cup, Fabian Hertzler. Yeah, he's not doing a bad job. So really, really pleased to see Chelsea get beat. Always very pleasing to see Chelsea get beat. Mohamed Zakaria is in the house. M. Dot says, bit late to the party, but what a weekend. Let's go, Arsenal. Let's go, FK. JCF-1 is a new username that I don't recognize. Thank you for joining. Great late night lounge last night. Appreciate that. Really, really appreciate that, man. It's a lovely show we did with Haroon and Yembele. Do check it out. Wele loves playing Chelsea. Welbs, man, how much longer is this guy going to go on for? And every time you sort of, not write him off, but you expect him to retire, he just pops up with a goal, pops up with a winner. How can you not love that guy? How can you not love that guy? What a day for former Arsenal players. That's right. Danny Welbeck today and Eddie Nketiah, who we'll come on to in just a moment. Logical Nonsense says Chelsea's manager position requires being a part-time nanny. Yeah, indeed. And listen, what are they doing to Raheem Sterling and one or two others? I think the PFA are involved, aren't they? In terms of player welfare, player well-being. I mean, again, chucking him into the gutter. Might be time for Sterling to get some game time for Chelsea, says Mike Jones. I mean, look, they are a disaster, absolute disaster. Where are Chelsea in the table? They are currently 8th place. 1-2, drawn 2, lost 2 in the 6 games that they've played. Lael, hopefully I pronounced your name correctly, says generational hate watch has been successful. Shame that Spurs picked up a point. Do we really care about Spurs? We know where they're going to end up this season. Who cares? Who cares about them? Little old Spurs. I like Thomas Frank, but I don't see anything that sort of worries me just yet. Nathan says, FK, what a day. I know. And tomorrow it could go all horribly wrong, but you got to live in the moment. Better late than never. Good evening all on a sensational Saturday night. All of you are in such a good mood. It's so good to do these shows just like off the cuff. I thought I'd just, crack it open and just, see who was out there. And here we are. Hundreds of you watching live on YouTube on this Saturday night in the run-up to match of the day, which I think is going to be glorious. So I will not keep you for too long. Do drop a like on the video. It's a massive help to the channel. Do check out the match preview show and check out the late night lounge from last night. Really, really appreciate it. JCF says it's the first live that he's caught since the transfer window. Big shout out to all the other podcast listeners too. Thank you, man. That's really kind of you. We have a great community that's building here, and of course, channel members and Patreon members. Granit Xhaka was man of the match as well for Sunderland's win away from home today. Great win for them, 1-0. Granit Xhaka, man of the match. Great to see him back in the Premier League and doing what he does best. Mike says Chelsea have spent £1 billion plus and still have no striker. They're terrible. They are absolutely terrible. Nathan's getting a bit carried away. Sunderland in the Champions League. Who says no? No, I know. It's just not going to happen. Come on. But I appreciate you living in the romance. Right. Okay. Let's get to it. Eddie. I mean, wow. What a game today. And there's a few talking points that I just want to talk about. First up, what Glasner has done as Crystal Palace is absolutely tremendous. I mean, not only the trophy wins last season in the Community Shield, I think these guys are unbeaten in 16 games in all competitions. That is a phenomenal run, spanning back a few months. And they're really good at home. They've had a good start to the season, the only unbeaten team now in the league. And I thought they'd give Liverpool a game, but I kind of expected Liverpool to turn up with their firepower and somehow, shithouse a win. And they almost did, and we'll come on to that in just a second. But it was a great performance. And anyone who watched the game today, Palace deservedly going 1-0 up, and they could have been, no word of a lie, 5-0 up at halftime. Honestly, if you watch Match of the Day, those of you that are privileged enough to watch the game live, I know you'll agree with me. Alisson, absolutely unbelievable. Potentially the best goalkeeper the Premier League's ever seen, and you could see why today. A couple of wasteful finishes from the Crystal Palace players, and then Mateta smashing the sort of inside of the post later in the first half. It could have been 5-0. No exaggeration. And it's at that point when the group chats and the text messages to your mates start going mad because they're all like, you know what's coming. You know what's coming. Liverpool are going to get back into the game and they're going to probably go on to get the winner. And then I was sort of, tongue-in-cheek tweeting like, Isak 90+7, just watch how it happens. And then we had the most glorious ending to a game. Absolutely tremendous. I want to talk first about the goal. I mean, the equaliser. Federico Chiesa is just that sort of a player. Comes off the bench and he finds himself in good positions and in dangerous moments, dangerous times, and he got the goal. And fair play to him. But this I found absolutely batshit mental. The commentator said they could find no evidence to show handball. And when you look at the still on the right hand side, it is clear as day. It is as clear as I am bald that Mo Salah has made contact with the ball with his arm, with his hand. It is handball. And like my heart sank when the goal stood and 87, 88 minutes on the clock. And I thought, oh my God, they've got time. They're going to go and get a winner. We've seen it before. Liverpool, when they get an equaliser late in the game, opposition teams seem to just wet the bed and they cave. And I thought maybe the Palace heads would go, and how wrong we were. Before we talk about Eddie, let's just get some of the chat because it's been wild. Clear handball, by the way, says Ray, welcome to the show. DJ Polar. Vlad says Alisson saved this bit from being an embarrassment. They should have been 4-0 down at half time. You're absolutely right, Vlad. 4 or 5. I mean, it should have been absolutely massive. Absolutely massive. Even with Eza, even without Eza, sorry, they just keep going. Yeah, look, Glasner deserves a lot of credit. He's probably up there with the Bournemouth manager as the next one to go for a big 4, big 6 type job. Let's just hope United keep being dumb and not appointing anyone decent. Your defense is in trouble. Eddie Nketiah is in the room. Anthony, welcome to the show. Says good evening and happy Schadenfreude from the mountains of North Carolina. Welcome to the show. And this was interesting as well. Gaming since 2010. We've been criticized for long throws and having the towels on the touchline, losing to a last-minute long throw. Truly the stuff of champions. Obviously, Crystal Palace being praised for it, but Arsenal obviously getting criticised. Mike says, just to that point, if Glasner is offered the Manchester United job, what do you do? Has to be a no. I mean, look, Glasner's done a phenomenal job at Palace. They are a tremendous club and they've got European football this year. But I think Manchester United, even as awful and abysmal as they are, and Old Trafford's falling apart and all that sort of stuff, I think they have the pull of a massive club, and obviously Glasner may not get that opportunity again, so I think he would. No fear, no mercy, says the boys better be up for Newcastle tomorrow given these results. It has been a tremendous day. Ray saying PJMOL tried hard to conspire against Palace, and I mean, Eddie Nketiah, let's talk about the winning goal. 90 plus 7, as you see from the thumbnail. One of you said just a few moments ago he missed a sitter. I don't think it was a sitter. I think it was a tremendous cross from Mateta. Eddie's obviously jumped a little bit early. His body's probably a yard into the ball, if that kind of makes sense, and he's backed away, and the ball's kind of just gone wide. And at that point, I'm sort of sat there cursing, going, "Oh bloody hell! Why is he on? What are they going to do?" And when the throw-in went in, and it bounced about a bit, and then the ball eventually went into the back post, Eddie has basically chested it down and twatted it with his left foot into the back of the net. And you know what? As someone who didn't really, sort of have much time for Eddie at Arsenal, I was quite happy to see him go, and I thought it was really good money. He deserves today's moment. He's not really pulled up trees at Palace. He's not had much sort of, regular game time in that team. He's been used sparingly here and there, a few starts, and then he stops, and few starts, and then he stops, and he's not really returned the goals that his transfer fee certainly would have commanded. But today is all about Eddie, and he deserves that moment. It's only fair. It's a tremendous finish in a massive moment, in a huge game being watched all over the globe, and Eddie deserves it. It was a great finish, and of course, Arsenal fans went absolutely wild. I was screaming, jumping. I mean, I just couldn't believe it, and I was waiting. I thought VAR might pull it back, but it was onside by the finest of margins. Really, really pleased. Ray Beam says, I had a feeling Eddie would score when he came on, something I didn't experience much when he was still with us. Yeah, listen, DJ D10 says true. FK at least 3-0 would have been fair at halftime. Nathan says, FK, please explain how Wirtz 007 has come under no criticism, but Gyökeres is the flop. Mate, Florian Wirtz, depending on who you follow on socials and what you believe, I've heard that he's not settled in as well as he might have liked, struggling to sort of adapt. His football performances have not been great. No output, which you would expect for a player of that sort of fee to deliver and to hit the ground jogging, if not running. He's not been good. so far, and he did miss that volley from 8 yards where he sort of deftly touched it into Dean Henderson's palm. V Vlad says, I just hope Glasner doesn't go to Manchester United. He's genuinely a good coach. Paul James says, Palace sold us their best player and they still beat Liverpool. They were incredible with the little possession they had. Can I just make a slightly aimed point at Mikel just on this note? When you watch the way Crystal Palace tore Liverpool a new one in the first half today, I couldn't help but think about our game at Anfield a couple of weeks back, where we were so upset when we saw the lineup with Marino starting in midfield. I certainly was. I don't want to say we, the collective we, but I was upset because I just thought, no Odegaard, no Eza, what are you doing? You should have gone for the jugular. I think Liverpool have shown today that if a team just goes at them and presses them and is relentlessly just going at them and trying to cause trouble and not giving their defenders and their midfielders time to breathe, they're very, very gettable. Crystal Palace, you know what? They didn't even have to sort of barge their way through. They just they galloped past them, jogged past them at a canter. They opened up Liverpool time and time again, and I just can't help but think, had we have had at least Eza from the start or Odegaard, I know he was the skipper was just coming back from injury. I think it would have been a different game, but hopefully there's a learning point there for Mikel. There's this bald bloke on a Saturday night talking from his little office room. Sofiane says, love Mateta, by the way. Solid Premier League striker. Yeah, shout out to my mate Paddy Arsenal, who's always been talking about Jean-Philippe Mateta. What a player. Eddie, Ray is shouting. This result has been coming for Liverpool, Ray Beam says. Mate, they have been getting away with last-minute equalisers and last-minute winners now for a few weeks. And, there are some some football fans who say that's just simply not sustainable. There are others who say, well, actually, it might all click and they might get better. But today they were comprehensively beaten. There can be no excuses. And, Arnie Slot was livid at the end. And I want to pick up on that point. This is him at the goal moment, deep into injury time. And I understand it was a minute over the injury time that was announced. But could you imagine the optics if this was Mikel Arteta? Can you imagine the headlines that this would be getting and the coverage that it would be having on social media and how distasteful this would be and how arrogant Mikel is and how he doesn't, care about officials and officiating and referee and how he's not the nice guy. Arnie Slot, those of you, I'm sure there are one or two Liverpool fans watching, but if you watch Arnie Slot in Liverpool games closely, he gets riled by fourth officials quite a lot. He's always in their ear. He's either laughing or joking, trying to be best mates with them. They're not going to shag you, mate. And if it's not that, he's either shouting at them and being right in their faces, and he's just showing some nasty side to him. You don't like to see it, but I do think the rhetoric would have been so different if Mikel Arteta had done this to the fourth official after the game. Yeah, that's it. It's as simple as that. Raphael, welcome to the show. Says FK, we are back up, baby. Tomorrow we will smash Newcastle by 4-1. Oh, don't know about winning 4-1, but Rancid, come on now, please. He's just won the best striker in the world award. Let's not go too far. Adam Wharton, what a player. This is a guy who I'd love Arsenal to go and get. Honestly, what a player. Sell Marino in the summer and make space, make funds, and go out and get Adam Wharton. What a player he would be at Arsenal Football Club. I know, Kenny, how did Liverpool bat us? Arteta is killing us, but you're still my coach. Look, it's really early. I don't want to go into Arteta out or in or whatever. We have a Premier League title to go and win. Let's go and get it. Sofiane has read my mind. He read the slides. Please, FK, the picture of Slot complaining after the goal about added time. I've been waiting for those tears. And they were tears indeed. Verts is struggling with the intensity. Notice that with Xavi Simons as well. Yeah, substituted again, Xavi Simons with 0 return. It's not that easy. See, it is not that easy. Spurs fans obviously trying to demonstrate or trying to justify that they've got the better player, but no. Source says Oliver Glasner is impressing. He is indeed. Luis is agreeing with me. Yeah, Wharton is the big sale for next summer for sure. There's going to be 1 or 2 clubs that are very, very interested in Adam Wharton. Absolutely no doubt about it, in my opinion. So what does that mean then? Ahead of tomorrow, I think, look, I don't want to get carried away, even though I've just done an impromptu show all about the generational hate watches today. But you got to live in the moment. And you just need to appreciate what sort of happened today. And it's been really good fun, just sort of sat on the sofa and spending time with the family and, watching these games unfold before us, and just the drama at the end at Selhurst Park was fantastic. And what a roar when that goal hit the back of the net. The Palace faithful were outstanding today, so loud, and they deserved that cheer. And most of them were still in the stands, still in the ground at that moment. And like I say, just to reinforce, Eddie Nketiah absolutely deserves that moment. He should be very proud of himself. It's an incredible moment to come off the bench and score the winner for your team in such a massive game against the champions of England. Pato says must win tomorrow. In fact, I'll tell you what I'll do. Let's bring up the Premier League table. How about that? Just so we can see what the sitch is. Here we go. So if I bring up the Premier League, here we go. Hopefully you guys can see that on screen. Scroll up to the top. So Liverpool obviously top, played 6-1-5, and they play Chelsea next. That'll be box office stuff. Of course, the 1L now, they cannot go unbeaten. Crystal Palace, of course, can go unbeaten. They are 16 unbeaten in all competitions at the moment. Played 6-1-3, drawn 3. They are second. Spurs have climbed above us with that point last gasp equaliser tonight against Wolves at home. Bit of an embarrassing result for them. Sunderland going from strength to strength. Granit Xhaka's Sunderland, that is. They are currently dizzy heights of 4th. And then Manchester City, who pumped Burnley today, are in 6th, and Arsenal, they're in 7th. And our opponents tomorrow, Newcastle, as we kind of scroll down the table, they've had 4 clean sheets in 5 this season in the Premier League, but they are 15th place. Too many draws, and they host Arsenal tomorrow. So that is the Premier League table after today's results, which is pretty encouraging. What other comments have we got? Spurs got away with one tonight. They did indeed. Yeah, I saw this as well, Louis. Spurs player took his shirt off to celebrate drawing against Wolves. Martinelli got so much stick for that celebration against City, and Paulinho took his shirt off, ran into the Spurs fans, and they were celebrating. Absolutely ridiculous. Jonathan Kay says a serious team goes to win at St James's Park tomorrow. There was a great post by now_Arsenal who I think put on screen the team that I want us to play tomorrow. I would love to see us go David Raya in goal, Timber right back, Gabriel and William Saliba are 2 centre-backs with Calafiori left back. I'd love to see us go Zubimendi Rice in the middle with Ødegaard ahead of them at number 10. On the right, Saka. On the left, Eze. And up top, Victor Gyökeres. What more can I say? That is the one. That is the one. It has to be that. Forda is in the house, says, hit the likes, people. Thank you so much. This guy, this creative genius on Photoshop, does all the thumbnails for the Cannon podcast. Do check out his YouTube channel as well. Sofiane says, Wharton's a great shout. Anderson of Forest is also a great player. Yeah, he's catching a lot of attention. He's entered the chat, I would say, Sofiane, in terms of players that people would like at Arsenal. And don't forget to subscribe to Latte Firm. If you've enjoyed the content, there are hundreds of you watching. Maybe there are some new people in the community. Do check it out. We're approaching 27,000 subscribers, which is insane. Lloyd says, finally, the luck runs out for Liverpool. No, it is exactly. The luck has run out. Haaland is on fire, says Jonathan Kay. Watch out for Manchester City. Let's support the team tomorrow. We absolutely will, Shepo. It's going to be a massive game. Hopefully, we'll get the 3 points. And hopefully, 13 points out of 18 would be a really, really good return, I feel, guys. Considering the fixtures that we've had, if you can come out with 13 points and narrow the gap to Liverpool, you've been to Old Trafford, you've been to Anfield, you've played City at least once, you've been to St James's, that's not bad. That's not bad. Right, I can hear almost the theme tune of Match of the Day in my head. I think we're going to leave it there. Can't not shout out Xhaka. Of course, Louis. What a man. What a man. We're going to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining. Really appreciate it. Very impromptu. If you've enjoyed this, let me know. We're going to be back tomorrow on the whistle, James and I, as soon as the whistle goes for Latte Firm extra time, if that's what we want to call it. 15, 20 minutes of just immediate raw reaction. No slides, just, positives, negatives, man of the match, and any other shouts. And obviously we'll take a chat. And then obviously later in the evening, once we're all sort of calm and decorum has resurfaced, we'll do the match reaction, which is something that you guys all know and love. Look after yourselves. Sleep well. We will leave it there. Take care. Rest well. St James's Park tomorrow. Let's hope that Arsenal can get the 3 points. Bye for now.